Welcome. Oh, that's on. Yep. All right, if everyone could find your seats, we will continue. I am joined now by Mrs. Sandra Delgado, and she is our annual giving coordinator in the advancement office. And so I'm really excited because she's going to share with you about fundraising and all the good things that you will maybe want to know about how you can help pay for your trip. And so I'm going to turn the mic to Ms. Delgado.
Thank you. I'm excited to see so many students that are just roaring to go on a mission trip. And one of the things that sometimes seems a little scary is a fundraising. I'm just curious to know how many of you have already started fundraising? Okay, some of you. The good thing is that there's so many ways that you can do this, and there's no way that you can fail. So I hope that if you're a little bit scared about fundraising, that by the time we finish talking about it this morning, that you're encouraged. This is so well within your reach. There's so many ways that you can do it, so many opportunities. And so this is an opportunity to learn more about that and fundraise what you need for your trip. So the first thing that you need when you fundraise is make a plan. And you're like, what do you mean make a plan? Do you have letters that are supplied by the Student Missions Department that you're sending out, right? Correct. Okay. So when you make a plan, you're going to decide, who you're going to send it to, who's your target audience. Do you want to reach out to, and I hope that you do, to your friends and family. That's maybe your inner circle. And you also maybe want to reach out, maybe your church family back home. People that maybe are not in your inner circle, but also know you and would care about the fact that you're going on this trip. And then there's a very much outer circle where you can reach to people who know you. So the possibilities are really quite endless when you think about your audience. And the way you reach them, there's many ways, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And that has to do with using your channels. Of course, you can use your letter, and you can also use social media. And in social media, just use all the channels available to you: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we'll talk a little bit more about how you go about doing it in each of those medias. You can also use email, and we encourage you to do that as well. And we'll talk a little bit about what makes a good fundraising email. And then part of your plan should be showing gratitude, and there's different ways to do that. You can obviously, send an email, send a card. You can post updates about what you're doing, send pictures. Just let your supporters know that you care about the fact that they're supporting you and really what you're doing with the funds that they're providing. When people come and support you on a mission trip, it's like we're kind of coming with you on this mission trip. And it's a really wonderful thing to see what you're doing, see a picture, hear and know, this is what happened, and this is how I was blessed, or this is how I was able to bless others. So don't forget the donors, don't forget your supporters after you've done raising your money. So, because you already have a letter that's already been supplied, I wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the other things that you can do. Let's see. Email. Okay. So when you write an email, and this is something that you can do for friends and family, you want to make your subject line count. So you want to put something in there that is something that people will recognize, and you may be writing to 20 or 30 people at a time. So you want to put something in the subject line that is catchy, that will cause somebody to pick your email and open it, over all the other emails that they're getting. Personalize your message. You're not going to be writing, I'm sure, to 1,000 people. So even if you're writing to 30 people, put their name in there. put something that shows them that this is not just a mass email, but that you're talking directly to them. Keep it short and sweet. I would not recommend taking the letter and making it an email because it's a completely different medium. You want to do something that's really short, really sweet, break up those long paragraphs. You can take elements of your letter and put them in your email, but you really want to break that up into short sentences, underline, bold, different color, anything that really makes things stand out for your supporters. Make the impact clear. This is what we hope to accomplish. And you also want to say, how much you're trying to raise. It's important for them to know, this is my goal and you can help me be part of reaching that goal. And lastly, add visual content. An email with a picture or a video is going to go much further than an email that just has text. That's just what we're used to these days. So if you have a great picture of yourself or a picture of the destination where you're going, put that in there. That'll definitely catch people's attention and will make them want to continue reading and be a part of what you're saying. So I have, at the end, after the presentation, I'm going to have some handouts in the back that show you actual templates that you can use if you're wanting to send an email, and just use that as a guide for putting together your email. Okay, Facebook. Even though I realize that college students are not spending a lot of time in Facebook, your donors are. Your supporters probably will be spending a lot of time in Facebook. And it's actually one of the major outlets for raising funds. So you really want to be sure that you are spending time on Facebook for your project. Best practices, things that will attract others when you post on Facebook. An image that represents your cause or your fundraiser. So in this case, not just a picture of your lovely face, but a picture that shows something about your destination. I'm sure that Student Missions can help you with that, to use to attract attention to your post. Are you guys all set up with crowdfunding? Is everybody here set up with crowdfunding? I know I took it. No. Okay. All right. Well, that is an option, and I'm sure that we can talk about that more. You can, yes. Well, we're doing hand signals here. I know that that is going to be a possibility. If you're not set up with crowdfunding yet, that is something that is available, and I'm sure that you'll hear more about that later. But you definitely want to include that fundraising, that crowdfunding link there on your page, just to make it easier for your supporters to give right then. Just make it seamless, just a 5-minute thing, and they can already be a part of your campaign. Hashtag, use a hashtag. That'll make sure that other people who might not be even thinking about you might be able to pull up your cause and also find out what you're doing and be a part of it. And a brief copy that explains what you're asking for. It's really good to say, this is my goal, and you can help me with a gift of any size. And also I have a template for you that you can use specifically for Facebook to use those posts. Put a video, put a picture, something that attracts attention. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, but this is another opportunity also to fundraise. Again, images make a big difference when trying to stand out. A very brief description of your fundraiser, a hashtag, a mention of the organization. In this case, you're really raising for Southern. Southern is the one that is sending you and sending this trip. And again, the URL for your crowdfunding, and that's something that, that I know is going to be available to you as well. Instagram. I thought it was interesting that they said to use a professional-looking photo. I know that young people using Instagram care a lot about the pictures that are on there. So basically, I guess everybody on Instagram cares that their pictures are aesthetically pleasing. So a professional-looking photo, brief detailed description again, your URL. This is kind of the same thing again, and a relevant hashtag. So you definitely want to spread the love around and make sure that you are using as many channels as possible. This shouldn't be extremely time consuming for you, once you set it and once you have your plan. And let me go back to say something about your plan. Your plan should be something really simple. For example, I'm gonna send one post a week, or I'm going, on these 3 mediums, for example, and this is my post, and you send it. And then the next week, maybe you have a different post that you're gonna send, and you're gonna say something like, this is how much I've reached, or this is how much I still have to go. You can still be a part of this mission trip by supporting me, ... So your plan is more about the schedule and how you're gonna use these medium. And you're probably just gonna send the letter once, but you can send an email. Just like you're posting, you can send several emails to your supporters. Just make a plan so that you're not, so that it doesn't become noise what you're doing. Set up a plan. I'm gonna send emails at this time, this day. I'm gonna send posts at this time and this day, and maybe correlate them so that it makes sense what you're doing. If you have a supporter that's looking at your emails and looking at your posts, so that it's updated at the same time. A letter, and you already have a letter, but I'll just go over some of these things. Again, you want to make it personal. You always want to make your reaching out to your supporters very personal, because they're going to be, you want them to connect with you, and what's going on with you. So definitely personalize. Appeal with a story. If you know of a story or of your own personal story, why you're going, something that touched you, something that's meaningful to you, you want to include that. That's definitely something that in a letter you have room to do. Maybe that can be also one of your posts, just a short paragraph of why this is meaningful for you. And then also make a specific ask, goal, and duration of your campaign. One thing that I want to say about duration of campaign is, when you set yourself a time limit, there's a sense of urgency for your supporters to be a part of what you're doing. If you kind of leave it open-ended, I just need your help, you might not get the momentum that you need to make sure that all your funds are coming in. So set a time, I have X amount of weeks, or, I'm raising money from this time to this time, and I'd like you to be a part of it. And that definitely gets people moving, because I know sometimes we just procrastinate. Oh yes, I'm gonna do it, or yes, I'm gonna do it. But when there's a time limit, it helps us get moving on that. And lastly, express your thanks to your donors for what they're about to do. I don't know if you guys are considering using the phone, but I'm just gonna say something about the phone. Definitely something that you can do, especially, I would say, even with people that you're closest to, maybe your inner circle or your kind of mid-circle. Definitely write out what you're going to say beforehand, unless you're talking to grandma, because, that probably will change. But if you're talking to, aunts and uncles or something, they might have questions. Write out, be professional about it. Write out what you're going to say, the main things about your trip, what you're going to do, where you're going, and this is how much money I need to raise, and would you please support me? So if you have just a short little script to guide you, that'll be really helpful in these conversations. So this is what fundraising looks like, and always when you're done with fundraising, like I said at the beginning, don't forget to thank your supporters. And there's many ways to thank your supporters. One of them is just by updating them on what's going on. Hey, I reached my goal. That is a huge thing. Thank you, we did it together. We were able to reach this goal, and now I'm poised to go on this mission trip. Thank you so much. And also, this is no cliche, but also ask people for prayers. Because you're involved in your desire to go on these mission trips, that prayer is key to everything that's happening around a mission trip. So, give people the opportunity to also support you with your prayers, to follow along if you're doing a blog about your journey, leading up to the trip. and definitely during the trip, so you can connect with those people. Because who knows, maybe next year you want to go on a mission trip again, and you're going to be probably reaching out to the same people, and you want them to know that you appreciate their support and them coming alongside of you on this journey. So that's all I have to say about fundraising. Are there any questions? Yes?
Do you suggest using a Facebook fundraiser page as well to fundraise this?
Well, I would suggest using crowdfunding. I would suggest using crowdfunding because you want everything to be funneled through one place, and you can make your post on Facebook, and you're going to have your URL. All people have to do is click, and they're going to be on your personal page, which is your crowdfunding page, with your picture, being able to donate, and that's something that's going to be very easily tracked for your totals and everything. If you have different places where you're fundraising from, it might be harder to keep track of everything at once. So I would definitely recommend using our crowdfunding page. Any other questions? Yes?
So in the old days, you'd make an announcement especially if you're at a small church. Now that a lot of people are going to be going home for break, is that still a thing to do, to make an announcement at your church asking for support if you're
Absolutely. Talk to the pastor, and ask your pastor, for permission to do that. And absolutely, you can, have some pictures, maybe your church has a mission time during the service and they'll allow you to speak and make an appeal. Definitely clear that with the leaders of your church, but that's absolutely one other way to get support. Any other questions? Yes?
Where else can you turn money? What if people give cash? Is there somewhere you can launch
So in our office, we have the donation envelopes. They also have them in the advancement office, so you can turn them in either place. If you give them to our office, we literally just walk them over to the advancement office and then turn them in. So that's definitely a possibility. The other thing I wanted to say about the idea of doing a Facebook fundraiser, one of the cautions that I would say for any fundraising outside of the official Southern fundraising avenues is that those funds would not be tax deductible, and your donors likely do care quite a bit about that. So we've had some issues in the past where a student will create their own GoFundMe page, and then the donor says, well, I gave to that student, they were going on a Southern mission trip, so they expect that to be tax deductible, and when they find out that it's not, guess what, they're not likely to be mad at you, they're likely to be mad at me, so please don't let them be mad at me and just use what we already have. Also, Southern has invested quite a bit of time and resources and funds in the crowdfunding platforms that we do have, so I'd really love for you to use those. And any funds that come in any other way, either through cash or just sending them to the general giving page, which is southern.edu/give uQuest, all funds are going to be listed on your crowdfunding page. So you've got to make that, even if you don't plan to use that for whatever reason, that's where we're going to be listing all of your donations in one place.
Do you have an idea when that link is going to be working? Because it doesn't.
Okay, if you have specific issues with your crowdfunding page, please email us as soon as possible. Beatrice is the primary person that's working with you. So essentially, this is how the process should work. You get formally approved on a mission trip, and then we send you a link to create your personal fundraising page, which is pre-populated with some kind of generic things about like what's happening on the trip and about Southern, and then you have the time and space to upload your personal pictures, upload your story. You let us know that that's been done, and then we'll make it live. We don't want to have it live with, this is why I'm going on the trip, and then it's all blank. So we wait to make that live until you let us know that you've edited that portion. So that's the way that it should work. So please let us know as soon as possible, because again, your fundraising deadline is the week you get back from Christmas break. Sorry. Any other specific questions about funding, fundraising? Yes. I think technically yes, people could donate still, but your balance is going to be charged onto your school bill of what has not been fundraised. So I would love for you to continue fundraising to help support uQuest, but it doesn't change what you are going to be charged for your school bill. Does that make sense? So people cannot give you funds, and they cannot be tax exempt if they're going on your school bill. So let's say between now and when you get back from Christmas break, you fundraise $1,000 towards your $2,000 mission trip. January 21st, I'm sending an email to student finance that says, please charge John Doe $1,000 for their mission trip. So if you go and continue to fundraise, that doesn't change the $1,000 that's charged on your school bill, because at that point it's the same thing as getting charged for tuition, and you cannot fundraise for tuition, which is an IRS thing, not a Melissa Moore thing or a Seder Delgado thing. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yes, too.
And the funds, so let's say you do fundraise after that deadline, those funds can be reallocated, right?
That is correct. They will always just continue to go to the general uQuest fund. It will not affect what you are charged. So again, there's some urgency here that you have basically about a month. If you're going on a spring break trip, you have about a month to fundraise. If you are going on a May trip, then your fundraising deadline is basically the week you get back from spring break. So please, yes, fundraise with some urgency. Christina?
Talk about the December 31 deadline too.
Okay. If you were not approved to have anything charged on your school bill from student finance, then your deadline is December 31st to have all of your funds in. If you don't have your funds in by that deadline, you are not going to go on your mission trip. There are only a few of you that fit into that category, and so if you fit into that category or you're not sure if you do, please come talk to us as soon as possible, because that's my unfortunate phone call to you on January 1st is to say, Happy New Year! Also, you've only fundraised $30 towards your $2,000 mission trip. So, and I don't want to have that conversation. Oh, yeah. Again, if you receive subsidy and you're not sure what that means in regards to fundraising or your school bill, please come talk to us. That's also a minority of you, so I don't want to take the time to explain that to everyone here. Anything else, kind of general questions about fundraising? Yes, Logan.
Wait, so could we fundraise after as long as it's not tax exempt?
Essentially, then you're asking people to give you money for your school bill, which you could do, I mean, at any point. You could. The people giving you money need to understand that it is not a donation. You're just literally asking for money for your tuition, and you just go and put it on your school bill. At that point, has nothing to do with advancement or our office. You just go and pay your school, put money on your school bill like you would regularly.
So I can call them a paying expert because I'm going on a mission trip. And then by paying to help my school bill,
Yes,
you're
you could do
also
that.
helping me go on the mission trip.
Yes, you could do that. Also, a lot of people want to give during this calendar year. So again, some urgency that people might want to donate specifically if it's before December 31st. Okay, if you have other specific questions, you can come see us afterwards. But I just want to echo what Ms. Delgado said. What do you think is the number one reason why people do not give? Shut up. What do you think? You do not ask. That's it. That's really it. That's the number one reason. There are people that, like myself, like I have a young family. It's very difficult for me to go on a mission trip. There are some older individuals, people that can't get out for work. A lot of reasons why people cannot themselves go on a mission trip, but you're giving them the opportunity to be a part of that. And so I just want to encourage you to think about, it's not really about like you specifically, and if somebody says no, please don't take that as a hurt to your pride. It could be a number of factors, that it's not good timing, it wasn't the right amount, they could have already allocated those funds. But please don't be shy to ask. I hope the reason why you're going is because you want to go and learn and grow, and you want to be a part of walking with individuals that are experiencing some degree of brokenness. And so I think asking for people to support you in that is really a compelling case, and you're just giving them the opportunity to be a part of missions for you. If there are no other big questions, oh yeah.
Please pick up an outline in the back at the end, because there's very specific templates that you can use. And I just wanted to say that ask anybody, even people that don't be thinking, if I think they'll give me, so I'll ask them. Ask everybody, because you don't know who, just cast your net really wide. You don't know who in that net will be able to support your cause. So happy fundraising.